Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz, and it is the 30th of January. These are the Charles Perry Stalker podcasts, and we hate to do them. Like, I have other shit to do, but sometimes we have to because we have a but for situation here. But for Mr. Perry's unwanted contact, serious bad invasion into my privacy, violating me in a way that makes me feel extremely raped, and constant harassment, constant threats. I get threatened with death, false arrest, property, economic loss every fucking day. Not how you get a date. But for the criminal activity directed at me on a daily basis, all fucking day long, we wouldn't do these. And they are to establish premeditation and mains rea. Because we've got a lot, like a shit ton of things that we did that on, and then we were able to establish that Mr. Perry sat down, had a little meeting with him and his guys, and they all decided, here's what we're going to do to her, or cause injury, and the act is illegal, but we're going to do it anyway. And it was recorded, and it went to police, and then not police in Tulsa, somewhere else, and in fact, there's more than one jurisdiction involved. I'll say that. It's a need to know. Mr. Perry's in a lot of trouble for sexually exploiting women and children, violations of human rights. He enjoys the torment, torture, and starvation of women and children. I'm a victim, one of many. He actually asked about the other victims. He wanted to know which ones we're talking. When he asked if I knew who coaxed or begged Officer Neely of Manford Police to go to Pensacola 6 days after I filed the vandalism complaint, his name was not on that complaint. It does look like he did it now, though, doesn't it? Because twice we've had justice obstructed. 2 people have been poisoned. 2 people lost the integrity of their evidence. And 2 people false arrested. So, I'm going to put it this way. If it weren't for me doing what I'm doing, Mr. Perry would have gotten away with this a lot longer than he has. We ended life as he knew it. But you know what? We believe in the law of attraction. So I'll get into that in a minute. But we apply the but for standard here. The reasonable, prudent individual. I have every right to tell anybody I want to tell, Mr. Perry and Mr. Powell, what you're doing to me. You don't have the right to obstruct justice or to violate my right to safety, sir. Sirs. I know you guys want me to shut up because you got caught in your crime. And we think that is hysterical. We actually think it's funny that you think you can do that. You can't. You don't have the right to put me in danger that way. But the fact that you've tried is of interest to the police giving me that information. Why wouldn't it be? You don't want to, silence somebody who doesn't know anything. That's called witness tampering, victim tampering. It is, so we're going to also assert that law, equal protection. We assert all constitutional rights, but right now we're asserting equal protection, the Equal Protection Clause. You don't get to discriminate me because I'm a woman. Title 18 of the United States Code, Section 1512 and 1513 applies to you, Mr. Powell. You've gotten recorded calling up here all the time, constantly, just like you did in Sapulpa, just like you did in Manford. We need her whereabouts. Can you give me her address? No, they cannot. I use a protected address by the state, sir. It's none of your business. I left. I moved twice and completely changed my life to get away from you guys and your strange little world of drama and sex crimes. I don't want anything to do with you. I didn't pick a fight with you. I left to avoid one. I went through a lot of trouble, Mr. Powell, in completely uprooting my son, changing my whole life to not have a conflict with you, Mr. Perry, and all his little, Sunday school BFFs or whoever, weirdo Texas Billionaire Boys Club, whatever that is. So we have a witness, I said before, who said ever since I've known Charles Perry, he trolls women. He travels without his wife. She has no idea what the fuck he's up to. So he'll stalk and troll, and he finds women who are divorced with kids. And when they're not home, he'll put hidden cameras in their home and sells watch time on the dark web. And he's a sex sadist. He loves to cause problems. Drama. He's a queenie, but not diva. So, He loves the poor me. Oh, I don't know what the hell happened to you as a kid, but I'm going to tell you something. Manford, those guys out in Manford were like, Charles Berry acts like somebody didn't whoop his ass near enough when he was a little kid. He's a spoiled little rotten little brat, and everybody owes him something. Are you on welfare? Are you? I mean, some people criticize people that are on welfare. I do know some people who have a legitimate reason to be on welfare. They have a job or two and still can't make ends meet. They had somebody, got married, had a couple of kids, and the guy just left. Now what? So there's a legitimate reason for welfare, so please don't. I'm not criticizing those people. I am criticizing somebody that sits around on their fat, lazy ass all day, watching everyone else have a life, and then claim they're a victim. You're watching me against my will. You have invaded my privacy, sir, against my will. Also, we're asserting all the victims, the laws that are preventing violence against women. And domestic violence laws, stalking laws. I shouldn't have to assert them. I just have them, don't I? But it's you, so we got to assert them. First Amendment. New York Times Company versus Sullivan. Garrison versus Louisiana. There's a bunch of them. Leave me the fuck alone. And when you don't have the right to talk about it, and you don't have the right to shut me up, Mr. Powell, and I know you're desperate for Mr. Perry for a cover-up. So I'm going to tell you something about the law of attraction. Oh, let me finish what the witness said. He said he'll get these women fired, and then they lose their house, and then he has the ex take the kids away. Did he do that to Cynthia? My guy goes, yep, pretty much. He had the parents do it on the older son. He tried to do it the little son. We wouldn't let him. But we're getting him. And the guy said, thank God. About fucking time. I'm sick of sleeping with one eye open. Mr. Perry came around looking for a handout. He wanted me to invest. Creeped me the fuck out. So, we believe in the law of attraction. And the law of attraction says that what's in your subconscious mind, you bring it into your life. Well, everybody knows my admiration for Granddad. Right? Everybody knows. I watched him go through something similar. He had a guy on the city council flirting with the dispatcher. He's married. My granddad's like, you're taking time away from police business. Don't do that, man. What about your wife? The guy got a butthurt about it. Formed a committee within the city council to take over the police department. My granddad was the chief. He was the chief of police. He believed that lawmen are called to relieve suffering caused by crime. There's honor in the badge. You have a job to do. We put food on your table for you to keep us safe. We put a car in your driveway, a roof over your head, clothes on your kid's back to keep us safe. If you fail to keep us safe, then you need to find a different job. You're not cut out for law enforcement. It's not for everybody. So, and that means women and children. And that means if you don't know, look. That means you don't assume. That means you better fucking look. That's your fucking job. Detective stupid. I don't have any patience for it because I grew up in 3 generations of very, very astute police officers who relieved a lot of suffering. There's much suffering in the land. The lady and the detective on the Mark O'Leary rape deal that was depicted in Unbelievable on Netflix, that's what she said. She used the book of Isaiah. God wanted somebody to clean things up a little bit. It was all messed up. There was much suffering in the land. And she said, hey, Isaiah said, here am I, send me, I'll do it. And so she goes, that's my mantra. Here am I, send me. We're equipped for such a time as this. Who knows that you were not called for such a time as this? Not Powell, and you failed. What are you going to do when God asks you what you do with your talent? What you do with the things I gave you? Those were gifts from heaven above. And you hurt people, and you allowed people to get killed. Mike Neely, Lucky Miller, you heard of them? They tried to kill me after that. The thing about repeat offenders is they tend to repeat their crime. So now you got more victims, Mr. Powell. Thank you for that. You were too busy worrying about my whereabouts. I don't think that's the issue. It's also not the issue who's posting what. I'm going to tell you something. There's different people that post who can remember who posted what. And that's not the issue, is it? What the issue is preserving life, Mr. Powell. God gave you some talents. What are you going to tell him when you get called up to heaven and he wants to know what you did with them? Why'd you use them to get people killed? You abused your power. That's also a crime in the state of Texas. I've read it. Abuse of power. That's a crime where you are. So we have my granddad told this fucker to cut it the hell out, and he got pissed and formed a committee on the city council that took over the police department. My granddad quit and went on to become the GOP chairman, the county treasurer, and then city councilman, and he helped set up the alien museums, which have brought a shit ton of money into Roswell. That doesn't mean aliens landed there. That means there's a curiosity about it, and people spend a lot of money to go look and decide for themselves what they think. It's a free country. We can decide for ourselves what we think. Imagine. We don't have to think what you say. No one likes that, by the way, being told to think what you think. You know how many recordings I've heard of y'all going, somebody questioning what you're telling them? I don't think you can do that. Oh, no, we can do that. It's perfectly legal. And they're going, yeah, I don't think it is. Yeah, no, we can do that. We can do that. Oh, my God, shut the fuck up with that. You're pissing people off with that, too, because you can't do it. You can't actually do that. So, my granny shows me all kinds of newspaper clippings about the two going back and forth when that was going on. But at the end of the day, look whose name is on the front door of that police department. Grandlaw, my granddad, Chief Hall. Nobody knows who that other guy was. I can't remember his name either. His name is on a big old wall inside the police department. They got a whole room dedicated to all their officers. And my granddad's name is right at the top there. See that? God honored him because he did the right thing. Just because it was the right thing to do. Mr. Perry, no one asked you what you think. You were not asked, sir. What were you asked to do? You need to act like your age, that you understand what's being said to you, and then respond appropriately, because I promise you there's a shrink watching that very thing right now. Listen to the words said to you, respond appropriately. No one asked you what you think, no one cares. You're pissing people off with that. What were you asked to do? Leave me the fuck alone. I'm not in love with you. You make my skin crawl. I'm disgusted by you. I'm repulsed by you. I think you're a monster. I'm glad to be, like Granddad, to be the one person that you've known in your entire life that has caught your crime more than anybody else. That is a great honor for me. It's so easy, it's not even fair, because you never shut up. And if you have to ask me who told on you, then there's something to tell. That's how we're going to use that. Your stupidity has been your Achilles heel, and it's a weakness we exploit. And it's successfully. Your need for repeating the same thing over and over and over. Everybody else gets it the first time. You're not acting your age. It's very concerning. This is my granddad right here. I wanted to be like him, so I attracted something to me that's making me like him, is it not? Nobody's caught the crime like I have. I want to know, when in your lives has your crime been caught this much? You hid this all your life, Creepy Charles. It's not hidden now. You don't have a cover-up. And you don't have a date. You're all by yourself. You're not wanted. You're not loved. You're a reject for a decade. Just a reject. Just pathetic. That's it. I'm not into you. I think you are a nasty, ugly soul. I'm sorry for you that you've chosen to be that, because we all have choices. You have enough money to go to a doctor. Those are the court cases. We're in an appeals process right now. This was like being on Forensic Files or The First 48 or something. It was a magazine, Startling Detective. That's my granddad solved a murder in Roswell. That's my great granddad. He was a captain of detectives. The guy on the right there, L.G. Hall. So I have some family legacy that's important to me, and it's not for sale. I know you guys, you're trying to starve me into taking your bribe and lie. And for like over a year, I've said no. I don't want your yellow brick road, is what you guys call it. I'm quoting your recordings, right? Is she not going to take the yellow brick road? Get the hay out of your mouth and fucking learn how to talk right, first of all. Second of all, I did say no, didn't I? And I also said you've threatened me, you're trying to coerce me. I've also asserted the RICO Act. I have the legal protection of that law against what you're trying to do to me. You don't need to coerce someone to lie if they're already lying, right? You only need somebody that knows the truth to lie. And I think that ship has sailed. Whoever said that? That ship sailed a long time ago, motherfucker. You need to look at the facts. I don't want anything to do with Charles Perry. And if you're smart, you get the bitch off me. because he's the causation here of when you guys get told on. I said, don't peep, don't hack, don't contact me, not in any way, shape, or form. Leave me the fuck alone. The more you do, don't cause any problems for me. The more you ignore my rights and wishes, the more of these recordings we get. Like, is she not going to take the yellow brick road? Can we not get her back out on that pole and on schedule? I'm quoting you. You're the cause. You just caused that. You're the causation. When you bother me, you get told on. A 6-year-old could have figured that out third time that happened. Our shrink is like if I put blocks, like I do my 6-year-olds. If I put blocks in front of them, different shapes, different sizes, different colors in a pattern, they're not going to be able to pick out the pattern. If by now they can't figure out when you fuck with Cynthia, you get caught. When you fuck with Cynthia, why is that? Who am I? I'm not in love with Charles Perry. Nobody's kicked his criminal ass harder than I have. But then you attracted that to you. That's what you attracted to yourself. You're 100% responsible. We all attract to ourselves what we want. I want to be like Granddad. You want to get caught. You're sick of yourselves. And you can't control yourselves. And you know that. So what you do is you start wanting the police to do it for you. You're that pathetic. We all attract. It's subconscious. When I do a sting op, that's the angle I work. I'm working the subconscious. I'm very, very, very good at it. Gene Mitchell and Travis Myers had no idea that's what I was doing, did they? And then I waited. I waited even before I said anything to see if someone would figure it out. I finally had to point it out. I finally had to tell y'all. That was not a depot. That was a sting op. What I just did is put them on your payroll, Mr. Perry. Your corruption payroll. $25 million plus. You can't hide where you spent that. I'd like to see you try. I'd like to see you try where you spent $25 million, sir. That's too much. If it were, $10, maybe $25 million. $25 million is too much money to hide where you spent it. I know that you're in delusion. You thought there was a political vendetta. Where's the evidence? You think peeping is a romance. Nope, that's a crime. You think pulling up behind my house or going into a restaurant where I go is part of your legislative duties. Nope, those are also crimes. And it's creepy and inappropriate. You have a wife you owe an explanation to as to why you did that. Those guys in Manfred said that. Do you know how many times I've driven up behind a woman's house who is not my wife? Never, because it's weirdo. Do you know how many times I've gone to a restaurant to spy on a woman who is not my wife or sent my secretary? Never, because it's weirdo. Or even my wife. It's weirdo. And not what you need to do to pass a law in Texas. Golly. That's how you do Sherlock 101, isn't it? That's Sherlock 101. Dragon slaying right there. They didn't go for your bullshit. They didn't go for it. Charles, you need to shut up, really. The more you bother me, the more you get told on. You're not getting the correlation, are you? You're the causation of it, genius. You're the causation. All of you are. When I have a problem, when I have a hardship, when there's drama, when there's loss. Mr. Perry's drama queen. Write this down. Take it to Vegas. Mr. Perry is a drama queen. He's queenie. Not diva. Just queen. He's all about the soap opera. That's his thing every day. He loves the soap opera. That's what people do who have very, very boring life. At Lubbock, So, Mr. Powell, got recorded a whole bunch. I mean, look at the dates on these. We need to get her whereabouts. Where is Cynthia's whereabouts? Can you give me her zip code at least? Where is she? We need her location. Can you give me in that little Texas hillbilly? Oh my God. And I'm like, just leave me the fuck alone. I'm not picking a fight with you. You're picking one with me. I left to get away from. I did a major life-altering changes to get away from you. It's like Pharaoh. You guys all like the witch stuff, don't you? That's what we hear. These guys are all a bunch of Christians, but they're really in the occult. I bet they try to cast spells on that chick. They're that weirdo. And I had somebody come up and tell me they were a witch, Jennifer or Stephanie or something was her name, in a restaurant and asked me. And I was like, I didn't even know what to say to that. I just turned around and walked off. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. I'm fine. if that's what you want to know. So, what if you like doing that? Conjure up, Pharaoh and ask him, do you think now, if you had to go back and do it again, would you follow the Israelites into the sea? You got swallowed up. You wanted to have something that didn't belong to you. You had plagues, you had, well, every time you guys are told on, that's your plague. You had all kinds of warnings, and you just did it anyway. And now you got swallowed up in the sea, and you exist no more. And finally, we live safe in the land again. There is no more suffering in the land again. There's no more drama. So conjure up your little Pharaoh guy and your little Saul, and ask them, if you had it to do over again, would you chase David? Would you chase the Israelites? And I'll bet they would probably say no. Since we're in hell now, getting tormented, probably not. Probably not. Or just talk to God about it. Why don't you just ask God? Get your little Ouija board. You want to know who told Charles? Do your Ouija board and let your Ouija board tell you. If that's your God, if that's how you want to behave yourself, then stop bothering me with your problems. Because when you do that, you get told on. And then we get recordings like this, Mr. Powell, of you calling up here all the time wanting my whereabouts. Mr. Perry calling up here. If she tells on me again, I want her arrested for harassment. Look at the dates on these. And then you sent mail to my protected address. I had to change it, Mr. Powell. That's illegal. That's illegal. What do you care? Nobody's bothering you. I'm telling people what you're doing to me. If you stop doing shit to me, there won't be anything to tell. I understand Judge Kirkendall told you that. I need 2 weeks. And how we got from Judge Kirkendall to Parker, I don't know. Parker's kind of a witness. Judge Parker and I were friends. And my statement has been, nobody knew I was being stalked for 4 years, but for a few close friends who did not live in Texas. I'm close friends with Judge Harker, Judge Parker, Judge McClendon. Not as close to McClendon, but pretty. I'd sit with them at LARW or political events. But like Harker and Parker, it was a little different. So there was probably more. I probably did more sharing of my personal life with Harker and Parker. So I didn't mention any problems with Mr. Perry, did I? Wouldn't you be a witness? Why are you on the, why are you having anything to do with that if this information that we get in is true? So I'm gonna use that caveat if the information we're getting in is true. Now, when you do something like we've gotten you recorded, Mr. Powell calling up here all the time, look at the dates. Look at the dates, and then all of a sudden we get mail, then chances are high that you probably are if you do what we say. This was like a few months after this. Or no, actually, this was in Manfred, so that was in 2019, I think. And this was in Sapulpa. And then Mr. Perry, he's had that plan for a long time. So we find out, again, this is unconfirmed, but we find out that what happened to the police report is it went to Sapulpa. Sapulpa gave it over to Josh and Matt and Charles, then did the obstruction of justice, witness intimidation, false arrest. She didn't die, so let's put her in jail so she'll shut up. So, again, unconfirmed. But that's the information that came in yesterday. Either way, it shouldn't have gone anywhere, should it have? It really shouldn't. And what I did with TPD is I was like, I'm not going to sue you. I could. That's supposed to be private. You gave my police report right over to the offender. And they destroyed my evidence and obstructed justice. Now we don't have a police determination as to whether or not I was about to be dead. Attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, all that shit. We don't have a final determination because I didn't get to pull my blood to see what was in it. Arsenic, maybe it was something else. But Mr. Robertson said arsenic. So that would have been the first thing I guess I would have requested a test of. Give me a full tox panel, but make sure you also get arsenic if it's not in your full tox panel to rule out or confirm arsenic poisoning. And the video. So I can sit down with the detective, Mr. Perry, and go, here's the video. Here's what happened the night I was at work. That is detailed out in my police report. Instead, you impeded a police investigation in another state, sir. Because somebody at TPD fucked up. So I was like, I'm not going to sue. It's too fucking hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I have to study and all that. It's a lot of work. I'm going to out-cop you. That I can do in my sleep. I kind of have. Have I not? Then we get this. I mean, I didn't come up here to pick a fight with TPD either. I really don't. When I was dancing and there was a lot of cops coming in, whether they come in for fun, off duty, or they're there to check into me, undercover or whatever. I gave a lot of lap dances to a lot of police. Let me put it that way. So I would go right to them. I wasn't scared of police. I was raised by 3, so it's like going home to dinner for me. It didn't bother me at all. And the bouncers would tease me. When the cops come in, everybody else runs into the back to hide. A lot of them have warrants. You go right over to them, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't. I mean, chances are higher they're here to see me anyway. So I'm gonna go. Let's go. I'm gonna go chat with them. Anyways, so I can handle my own. Is my point. This was, I'm going to get her car by fraud, illegally, illegitimately, and then you got caught, so then you started having it wrecked, and then it's been wrecked 3-4 times in 2 years. Once a brick thrown at it totaled it. Could have been my head. 3 other times right above the wheel. And then you guys got recorded again going, gosh, now it looks fishy, you think? So let's have somebody pull in front of her. That was the latest. Not long ago, it was raining, have her run off the road. Is she going to work tonight? That's the big question everybody always asks. You wanted me to go back out at the strip club. And so this guy goes, all we heard for 6 years is she needs to quit dancing and then she'll come to her senses and decide she likes Perry, which is bullshit. That is insane. So they ran off all my money and I quit dancing because my guys pulled me out. They're like, it's worth it. If you're coming out of there with evidence like the Pinto recording, Mickey James texts, Terry Wagner's text, proof that Mr. Perry's making unwanted contact with me within the forum state of Oklahoma at my work. Shouldn't know where I work. Yet here comes all these guys. So, to do something to me, scare me, intimidate me, try to coerce me to drop the lawsuits. Pinto asked me if I'll take $5,000 for sex, and I'm like, ew, gross. Fuck no. Fuck no. $1 million wouldn't walk in a room with that weirdo. So, anyways, they pull all my money out. They ran all my money off. My customers that, I could have made $10,000, and Charles has his guys coming in with their $30 canned food, all by one lap dance. Oh my gosh, I might as well fucking not even come here. So my guys said, yeah, and the risk has increased, so don't go back there right now. Don't go back. You're not coming home with the money. You're not coming in. You're coming in with evidence, but the not enough to outweigh the risk. So just stop going out there. Now you want me back out there. That's what happens every time you guys take my money. I mean, it's funny as fuck. You wanted me at my family's house on the 18th of December, but you took all my money, so I couldn't afford to go. And they were like, "Oh, we worked on that for weeks, did you?" Causation, Charles and Dave. Yeah, okay. This was way back when, Mr. Powell. All I want is to be left alone. So when Perry contacts me, invades my privacy, causes loss, causes drama, breaks the law, sits around imagining something he could never have, making a fool of himself, we're all embarrassed for him. We get more. We get more and more and more recordings, Mr. Powell. Like you calling up here wanting my whereabouts. This is a witness statement. They saw things I didn't see. Wasn't there. We see that a lot. So when you guys pull up where I'm at now and take pictures, please do remember I have been saying I'm being stalked, and Charles hired people to come take pictures, and Mr. Powell is calling up here all the time wanting my address. You don't need my address. Get a life. There's nothing to tell. Judge Kirkendall say that. I got to rule out entrapment. You're provoking her. All she's doing is reacting to what you're doing. That's not illegal. What we need you to do is leave her alone. Leave her the fuck alone. Give it 2 weeks so I can rule out entrapment. And you guys took that to mean harass her more, and let's just try to make it look like it was something else. It wasn't us. You took that wrong. You're not able to respond properly to what's said to you, which is causing a whole lot of questions from doctors that look at all that stuff professionally and make determinations. Why would somebody act like that? Why the fuck would anyone act like that? So, you got some sort of mental something. I don't know. This is the Officer Neely thing. Dragon Slayer Officer Neely. Point out to me one of those times when you took my money, or you invaded my privacy, or Perry pestered me all day and hacked and bothered and bothered and bothered and had to tell me what he thinks and how he feels and all that weird shit. I don't want to. What I said is, I don't want to hear it. Don't contact me at all. None. I've gone through a whole lot of trouble, sir, to avoid you, to cut off all ties with you. I don't want anything to do with you. Nothing. I didn't ask you what you think, did I? I asked you to leave me the fuck alone. You need to understand words and respond right. It's very embarrassing. When you didn't do that, then we got this. Point out for me the marks on Mike Neely. That looks like he was in a fight. And we're not just talking about visually. Now here's the police report. Point out for me in the police report, where are the injuries listed that look like he was in a fight? There aren't any. There's nothing. See, he had an IV in his right hand. That's going to make it red and swollen. The other injuries were a second event. He just took my police report on car vandalism right after we had complaints about that to the chief, and we had that. So you're caught. And now, I've said this before. Every morning, you guys are recorded looking into my bank account. How much money does she have? Does she have any cash? Is she going to work today? Is she going to the store today? Every day. The only way you could know any of that is illegal means. Peeping and hacking. Voyeurism is a crime. In all 50 states. You discussed that many people. That in all 50 states it's a crime. It's a fucked up thing to do to somebody. That is a fucked up thing to do. The same thing with hacking. When I go to the store, it's none of your business. How much money's in my bank account, not your concern. There are banking privacy laws. You shouldn't know anything about what's in my bank. Or how much cash I have. And the only way you can know how much cash I have is peeping. The only way you can know when I'm going to work is hacking me. There's no other way. Not possible. So, we're fed up. Listen, TPD, my guys have a bigger case, more people. You got 5. Is the best you can do be the bitch of a sex weirdo? Is that your best you can do in your career in law enforcement? I'm depending on somebody else, another agency. I'm depending on somebody else. It shouldn't be that way, but right now it is. Why'd you give my police reports over to somebody else? So, anyways, I don't know how many different times I need to fucking repeat myself. I mean, I've so repeated myself over and over and over. This was, I think it was Lucky, but I'm not told that. I'm not told who the leaks are. I'm not told, Mr. Perry. They wanted to get her on harassment. They said, and had us getting information on her car, asked us to pull her over all the time, had us checking into allegations that turned out to be nothing. They called us constantly, Mr. Powell wanting my whereabouts as part of that, and took time away from real crime. In fact, all we found is Cynthia just kind of keeps to herself and spent all her time trying to fight these guys off of her. Studying the law for court, maybe. And so it became pretty clear to us fairly early on. They're the ones doing the harassment. This was dated April 11, 2018. So what we did is we let them do it. They've now done it twice. Complete out, straight up, flat out lie. You're doing things to me, and I'm talking about it, and that's it. That's all that's happening here. It's no different than Lori Bori, Lo, the TikTok girl. It's no different than Polly Peretti. It's no different than, what was her name? Taylor Swift. When they got stalked and they're talking about it. You're committing the crime. Somebody's talking about it. But fucking who? I remember when I first met Charles and Jack. And Chris Wynn had said something, I don't even remember now what it was, negative about them. And they cried and they threw a fit and they whined. And I'm coming in from DC politics where you don't cry. I mean, good God, you don't act like that. You go back at it. And they're both crying and I'm like, I remember looking at him and I go, guys, listen, I get that you're kind of new to this, but if you can't handle that kind of shit, you get out of the kitchen. I mean, he attacked you. It's part of being in, I mean, that's, so what? So fucking what? Go back at him. You don't sit around and cry like this, like you're a victim. It's politics. This is how it is. This is how it works. If you don't like that, don't run for office. When you're going to be an elected official, Mr. Perry, please shut up. Please shut up. You're the causation when we get recordings of what you guys just said. You're the reason. Don't contact me, not in any way, shape, or form. Don't. I don't want to hear it. So when you're running for office, you're basically applying for a job. People have the right to know what you do in every part of your life before they say, yeah, I'll hire you. I'm the taxpayer. I'm going to pay you to do a job. And I want to know if you got a sex weirdo problem. And if you do, I have the right to know that. And you don't have the right to cover it up. That's democracy. That's our country. If you don't like that, don't run for office. It's part of the job. And if somebody attacks you politically, meaning on an issue, I would say the same thing now that I said then. What's your counter argument? Don't cry here like a little bitch girl. Stand up and give your counter argument. That's politics. That's how you get the job. Otherwise, you just look weak and pathetic, and nobody's going to hire you. Don't play the victim. You look ridiculous. There's no crying in politics. No crying baseball. I mean, you're going to have some balls. So there's no issue that I'm upset about with Mr. Perry. Never was. He knows that. He lied. His job as a legislator has absolutely no effect on me at all. I moved. I kept my mouth shut. I didn't want to be any part of that. I left to get away from the personal problems that he can't control himself. Crime after crime after crime after crime. Your politics don't affect me. They don't. They don't have a fucking thing to do with me. I left Texas 8 years ago. That's almost a decade. So, you don't legislate in the state where I live. You're not anything here. You're a dog catcher over there. People in Oklahoma do not sit around and wring their hands over what a state assemblyman in Ohio is going to vote on any given Ohio law. Nor do we in Oklahoma worry about what you're doing in Texas. We don't live in Texas. So, I kept my mouth shut for 4 years. You don't make up a story that's not true. Not tell anybody but a few people for 4 years, completely change careers, move twice, and then tell the public, do you? That does not even make sense for one guy in a humongous state and probably the smallest district in that state. No power at all. And 86% Republican, where the people in Lubbock are always going to vote pro-life. They're always going to vote pro-protection of marriage, and they're always going to vote pro-gun rights because that's what they like. So what good does it do to remove you, Mr. Perry, and replace you with you, minus the stalking weirdo problem? It's stupid. I want to see the evidence of whatever it was you imagined I was pissed off about enough to go through all that. I've gone through a lot. You know, people have complimented me, Mr. Perry. That chick has gone through so much crap from what they've done to her. And you don't see her crying. If you meet her out somewhere, you'll never know she's going through everything she's going through. You won't know. She doesn't whine. She's not whiny. Drama. This is in 2011. Nothing about pro-life. Nothing about your gun rights positions. Nothing about anything political at all. This is all personal. He's stalking me. And I'm scared and I might have to move. Long before I could have anticipated, 5 years later, you're going to go into court and lie about it. There's a false police report filed, and it's related to politics. Wrong. This is not what you do to pass a law in Texas, Mr. Perry. You need to get a grip on reality. You look like you're just not all there. Look at this. I went to run errands. I usually went to Carino's. We didn't invite Charles. He shouldn't have known where I was. Shouldn't have cared. He's a married man. I didn't want anything to do with him. I think he's one big slob turnoff. I don't find him attractive. He's rejected. He's imagining things that aren't real. He's delusional. He's fucking delusional. It's embarrassing to me. You don't do everything that I've done and want to date or give a fuck about a political position. If you don't like the politics in the state where you live, move to a different state. The people in Texas don't sit around wringing their hands about what's going on in Nevada, do they? So why is it you think you matter politically? And why do you think this is part of your job as a legislator? There's something wrong with you, dude. Seriously wrong. If you're mentally fucked up bad. So I'm tired of repeating myself. I'm really so tired of repeating. Do you have Alzheimer's? I mean, what is your problem? Leave me the fuck alone, Mr. Perry. We're all tired of this. You're a burden and an imposition. Where I am, Mr. Perry, shut up. He likes to type in my computer when I do these, and when I scream that, Mr. Perry, shut up, he stops. Leave me the hell alone. Listen, you guys have another court thing going on that gets the recordings. In that courtroom, they will require that you show what you were doing with your time. Mr. Perry has no alibi. He's going to need one. And not just, I'm going to throw some schmuck up to say he was with me doing XYZ. Nope. Going to take a lot more than that, sir. Because you have a bad habit of witness tampering, coercing. I'm going to starve her until she takes my bribe and lie. Is she not going to take the yellow brick road? I did say no for a long time. I said, go fuck yourself. Get out of my life. Didn't I? That's your only answer here. You don't have any choices. That's it. Comply with the law. Comply with the law. So the therapist and, what's his name? Lonnie Athens, the criminologist. 3% of the population has antisocial disorder, which would then, I guess, break down into two categories, sociopath or psychopath. The rest of us can act normal. The rest of us know how to behave. You're not keeping up. It's irritating us. It's offensive and disgusting. So stop it. 1% becomes a violent offender. That means you can't keep up with the 99% of the rest of us that don't act like you. It's ridiculous. We control your leaks. You don't control that. You never have, you never will. And you don't get to have that information. I don't even have it. And I'm tired of telling you the same thing, Mr. Perry. I'm not told who your leaks are. Write it down. Why do you have to ask who told? If you really have remorse and you really want to make amends, first of all, you stop doing the offensive conduct behavior thing. And second of all, your first priority is having empathy for the people that you harmed, not who told. How'd she find out? How'd she knew? Because people are sick of y'all and want you gone. It's that simple. Mr. Perry, we're sick of you. You're the offender. You're killing people. You're causing suffering. You're violating my privacy. You're violating my rights. You're being stopped every time you're told on. You're just not bright, so you can't put that causation together. When you fuck with me, you get told on. When you fuck with me, you get told on. When you bother me, you get told on. When you cause a problem for me, you get told on. Over and over and over. More than ever in your fucking life. You're breaking the law. You stop. Nobody invited you to Oklahoma. Your family and everybody lives in Texas. Get the fuck out of my, my home, my life. Get out of it. Nobody invited you in it. You want me to have somebody break into your house, beat the hell out of you, and then make you leave? Don't do it to me. You want somebody to treat your kids like you treat me? You better stop. I'm not asking you, sir. It's the law. You grow up. You grow up. You're an embarrassment. You're pathetic. Do you see this? Is this what you do to get your legislative duties, sir? Solicit prostitution, offer $5,000, and you have to pay for sex, that means nobody wants you. That means you are not loved and you are not wanted. You got to pay for it. I'm going to tell you something. Go to Vegas. Get yourself an escort. Lots of elected officials do it all the time. No one ever hears a word about it. And they'll do any kinky, weird-ass shit you want done. But don't you fucking bother me again. Do you understand? This right here, Mr. Perry, is not what you got to do to pass a law in Texas, is it? You will leave me alone. Every time you're told on, you are being stopped. You can't control yourself. You're that pathetic. I said stop contacting me. Stop it. Stop invading my privacy. Stop sitting around every morning and deciding, how much money does she have? Is she going to work today? What is she going to do? Mind your own business. Get a life and get the fuck out of mine. And if you can't tell by watching, what's her name's TikTok channel, all the people that spoke out against that weird guy that wouldn't fuck off, then you're nutty. If you can't tell by watching what happened when the world blew up, when Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd, everybody got angry. If you think they're not feeling that towards you, you're off your nut. You're slower than I thought. When you bother me, you get told on. When you bother me, you get told on. When you fuck with me, you get told on. When you cause a problem for me, you get told on. You never get a date. You're not going to get a date. You're pissing everybody off. You're making people sick of their stomach. Please, get off me. Get off me. Leave me the fuck alone. All of you. Okay, so all of this, Mr. Perry, but while I'm doing this, is still typing in my computer. Still contacting me. Still hacking me. Still invading my privacy while I'm doing this. While I'm telling him, when you bother me, we get all this shit. And the reason I had them, actually this is a copy and paste from an email of mine that was sent to somebody. When I typed in Fabian puzzle every time, Mr. Perry, that is because you guys have made some bizarre claims every time I quote you. Fabian puzzle is a hard piece of tangible something that somebody got to me in jail. And your name isn't on it. You're not wanted. You're not wanted. You're a butt-in. That's it. You're crossing boundaries. Your conduct is inappropriate and offensive. So each one of these titles represents a conversation that you had that was recorded. So when you want to sit around on your fat, lazy ass pervert around bothering me, remember, you asked for it. That's the causation of this. When you want to cause a problem for me, you want to call up here and ask my whereabouts, and you want to cause, financial loss of some sort, or violate privacy laws, banking privacy laws. You want me to go to the car dealer? Again, financial privacy laws protect anything and everything that my car dealer and I would discuss. It's not your business. Stay out of it. All of that pisses off 40 police officers who have gotten all this stuff. Every contact Perry makes, I hate it. It disgusts me. Respect my rights and wishes. Respect the law. Respect my boundaries. Get out. You're not wanted. Get out. Why can't you control yourself? Why aren't you embarrassed? You embarrass me. Why aren't you embarrassed? Leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone, weirdo. Leave me alone, weirdo. Stop bullshitting yourself all day and go work. People need to see you working. They need to see you with your family and not bothering me. So all of these right here came from a recording of you every time you fucked with me. Pissed everybody off. They got to work harder and we got more. Okay? So you asked for it, you got it. You're the causation. No one else to blame but you. Do remember, everybody subconsciously attracts to themselves what they want. This is you being stopped. This is people saying, we're not going to tolerate that. It's disgusting. They need to leave her alone. Where's Jacqueline when you bother me? Sometimes I get angry at her Take care of your own fucking husband and get him off me. I don't want anything to do with you. Charles, get out of my life. Listen to the words I'm saying. Shut up and get out. I didn't ask you what you think. I didn't ask you what you want. Didn't ask what you feel. I don't care. I said, get out of my life. Get out of it. It's the law. You don't have a choice. And the more you don't, the more that we get. You asked for that. You are pathetic.
Stop stalking me! Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalked me. That's why I moved.
Just
leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes
No,
and I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you again. I don't ever want to hear your voice, see you. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't. Stop stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalked me. That's why I moved.
Just
leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes and
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you again. I don't ever want to hear your voice, see you. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops. That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Leave me alone. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes and I'll leave you alone.
Oh, God. It's too damn early for this shit. Leave me alone.
How do you dress like this? What are you a prostitute? I'm serious.
Sir, please leave.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Leave me alone. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes and I'll leave you alone.
Oh, God. It's too damn early for this shit. Leave me alone.
How do you dress like this? What are you a prostitute? I'm serious.
Sir, please leave.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Leave me alone. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes and I'll leave you alone.
Oh, God. It's too damn early for this shit. Leave me alone.
How do you dress like this? What are you a prostitute?
Leave me alone. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
First, let me say that I'm happy that the lady in this video is okay. Second, let me break down what rape culture is. Rape culture is the fact that that man felt that he was entitled to some of this woman's time just because he said, let me talk to you for 2 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. If she said no, no means no. Rape culture is the comments that she has on her video about how she should have just spoke to him or dressed differently. Rape culture is me taking the heat for calling out other men for their terrible behavior. Rape culture is trying to explain stuff as, oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not locker room talk. You should talk the same way wherever you are. We all know that rape is not about sex, it's about power. So for you to force yourself on somebody, even if you're just talking to them, is disgusting, dude.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey, men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. Especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumbass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior, and you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her, and you need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
You don't have the right. You're fucking antisocial, disordered, oozing and sliming out of your ears, squirting people on the eye, and it stinks, and we're tired of it. We're sick and tired of you. Leave us the fuck alone, Mr. Perry. I don't have the hots for you. You disgust me. Please stop bullshitting yourself. Stop bullshitting yourself. That is the Fabian puzzle. Fabian, it was the person that you butt in, that I wanted in my life, and you butt in. You bring sadness and fear. People are sick and tired of feeling that. Please leave me the fuck alone. So this was the email I sent before. Everything that comes in, it goes out before you do it. This one said he was drugged. Officer Neely was drugged and not given full talks until he got to the hospital after the Narcan altered his chemical composition. That would have showed us what the fuck made him pass out to begin with, because he wasn't beat up. He wasn't knocked out from being in a fight. He was in respiratory distress. He was dying. He was dying. An innocent man is in jail while you guys are out committing crimes still. So when my guys get ready to do the whole thing at once, they'll do the whole thing at once. Everybody's disappointed. TPD didn't do their part. So that's something they, like I said, I'm happy to out-cop them if that's what they want. This is this. I'm not going to sue them. I don't have energy, time, nothing. I don't, whatever. I'll just out-cop them, out-dragon slay. That's kind of the way I'd rather do it. My police report never should have gone to the offender. Ever. Never should have happened. Nor should any citizen be told we don't take evidence. And I was told that twice. Manfred didn't say that. Don't ever say that. That's not how you do policing. So, we have... Hang on. These are domestic violence laws. I'm asserting my right to equal protection to them. That means you don't get to subjugate me. That means you don't get to, commit a violent act against me or my property. Do you understand? It is against the law. Mr. Perry, do you think you're above the law? Why? You feel entitled? You got that antisocial disorder, psychopath, sociopath, something going on with you? Mentally ill? You're fucked up mentally? You couldn't be wearing a bigger orange flag saying I'm fucked up mentally than you are. I said, don't contact me. I do not care what you think. Just like Neil, nobody asked him what he thought about her clothes, did they? What was he asked to do? Leave her alone. And you look that pathetic. Nothing more pathetic than a bitch who can't move on. That's a Michael Weston. Nothing more pathetic than a bitch who can't just fucking move on. Get a life and go do something normal. Normal people do. And do remember that I did say you guys have people always coming around taking pictures of me. Like that. And that's stalking. Like that. Made her uncomfortable. She called the chief 3